Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys. Yet again.
This is a weird deja vu moment. I swear we were here before.
I know. And if you, what I think is funny is that, yes, if you are listening to us live, hello, there's a good chance you listen to us do Steven Universe, Season 1, Episodes 37, 38, just about an hour ago-ish, two, sort of, something like that. I'm not good with the math. But what matters is this. What matters is, if you didn't listen to us, why not? I mean, we did a good show. If you don't like Steven Universe or you never seen it, definitely check out Steven Universe. I'll say that much. If you have, keep going. I mean, maybe you might think the first few episodes were something or other, but just keep going. I mean, the series is amazing. But what matters is that here we are live doing Gravity Falls, the mid-season finale for Season 2, which is Episode 11, and I got to be honest, haven't watched the episode. Don't even like Gravity Falls. Haven't seen it.
Well, good night.
Imagine just, what's also interesting is that we've had some technical difficulties, so there's a chance that you kept on listening to us maybe for about half an hour for our Steven Universe show. Sorry about that. We'll make sure to edit that out for future listens. But as of right now, there's a chance you listen to static for 30 minutes. That's dedication right there. If there's a good chance that we may edit in some secret messages.
Now, all jokes aside, though, we had some tech difficulties that basically, since we were trying to do this back-to-back show thing, we gave ourselves a half hour for a break in between, but we didn't exactly schedule it that way. So computer-wise, we may have hurt ourselves, but we'll see.
Well, no, because what ended up happening was I scheduled it just in case we went over because I know the Stevani episode in Steven Universe is very big. So I scheduled it for an hour and a half. So I gave us a break in our heads, but I scheduled it for an hour and a half. So somehow computer error happened where it may have kept on going for a half an hour, which is funny to me. If you listen to static for half an hour, though, we may give you an internet cookie or an e-hug because that is dedication right there. Are they going to do something? Are they going to do it? Because, we really should have just came at the end of the episode. We really should have both called it and been like, thank you for listening, dedicated viewer. Your dedication is astounding. You were listening to static.
You win
we were
a
not
secret
around.
Coupon code.
Not going to lie. I'm probably going to re-edit it with something like that. Not going to lie. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, what matters right now is Gravity Falls. Oh, boy. Things got real fast.
Oh, we're actually talking about Gravity Falls now.
We're talking about Gravity Falls now, my friend. Gravity Falls, Season 2, Episode 11, mid-season finale. Things got weird.
The only thing that disappointed me about this episode is the fact that I knew that there was a wait coming right after it.
Yeah.
And, it's, depending on when you're listening to us, you're either in the hiatus with us or you understood what the hiatus was like. Or
there's a chance that you may just be watching it, through a marathon, maybe, in which case, you lucky person you. You're so lucky, aren't you, with the fact that you just had to click on to Episode 12. Huh? Wasn't that fun? Maybe you bought the DVD that's not out right now. Huh? Wouldn't that be nice? You disgust me. I love you. You're one of our fans.
You're going to scare them away.
I mean, it's already 1 in the morning.
That's
They're
what
here.
I mean.
But no, oh boy, again, things got deep and, we usually talk about things in order. So, I guess let's just as if we don't want to talk about the big reveal. Fuck that. Let's talk about the fact that Stan had a very nice hazard suit on.
In that hazard suit was arguably my favorite line of the entire show so far. Wait.
Which was?
I can curse for real.
Oh, not that hazard suit, but yes. No, that is one of my favorite lines, though. But, no, I don't know. I enjoyed the idea with them toying, even to the end, with, is Stan a bad guy? because Stan is not what he seems, but is he in that way a bad person?
Right.
You know,
the name of the episode was Not What He Seems, and we got a lot of stuff about Stan not being what he seems. And the issue is, when we played through this episode, we always thought, like, well, what does that mean? Is he have a twin, which confirmed now? Does he have, like, something else going on? What is it? And when they did the whole, like, Stan Pines is dead thing, for a few minutes I was like, okay, I'm really into this because I don't know where this is going. Like, I figured it had something to do with the twin thing. But I'm like, what if he is somewhat of a criminal? Like, what if he isn't even Stan Pines? That would have been
the thing. We still don't know what's going on with that in terms of why do those exist? We still don't know why those exist.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Also, I think the idea is that they really did a good job of showing the fact that Stan, is a family man. It's not as if he's not going to play, hang out with the kids. But of course, with that Stanism going along with it, just Stan standing there going, "Hey, don't use those fireworks without me."
Yeah, no, the opening was really nice, and I'm like, okay, I'm into this. This is fun. And, well...
Mabel? The opening was really nice. I was really into it. Mabel, I am the god of destruction!
Yeah, that was hilarious. Right before that, though, we had... Because early on we had that scene where he was basically like, it's imminent. It's going to happen. And I was like, all right, this is going to be a big episode.
Yes.
Like, we all thought so, but... Man, like, I was worried. Because I'm like, what's going to happen? What the hell? Because I didn't know what the hell this machine did. And I'm hell curious.
Yeah, and of course, now we learn in the beginning of the episode that, it stops gravity. Because that's a nice thing to hear.
What was it? Minor
gravity anomalies.
That's what it was. Oh, my God.
Which isn't scary at all.
Minor...
Yeah, that's the thing, too, by the way. It's like, it's not a death machine. It just has minor gravity anomalies. Like, so then what? And it's not working yet. It's not fully operational. That's why they're only minor. Excuse me? Nothing?
Right? Like,
what is going on with this thing? So, we have Stan, we have Stan, we have the machine, and then we have him being a nice guy with the kids, which is always scary because I think it's something big that you'll notice maybe like in The Walking Dead or just like very like, shows that have an ongoing story with lots of characters. Oh, they're focusing on this character. Oh, God, they're going to die. This character's going to die. Why are they talking so much? This is a very nice, touching scene. Bam, get shot in the head. They died.
Right.
So it's a situation where it's like Stan's having a nice time with the kids. Immediately, you just see the sniper pointed at his head.
Right,
the sniper,
multiple.
It was like, oh, God. And he's like, what are all these red dots? I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, no, and it was interesting. Like, I was so pissed, like, as he's right about to tell the kids, like, what's going on.
Yes.
It's like, of course you're going to make us wait 20 minutes.
That was the only bad thing about this episode. Not the 20-minute wait. That was fine. At the end, where you can tell it was miscommunication city. Because it's like, look, maybe they wouldn't have believed him. Fair point. But it's like, I'm the kind of person where it's like, just get it out there, and then explain. But no, of course, it's a show and you have to suspend your disbelief. And it always sounds
right, of course.
Yeah, but it's always hard for me when it comes to communication because I consider myself a good communicator for the most part. I have my flaws. I'm a human being. But I consider myself a good communicator. So whenever like I keep on using this word miscommunication city, this phrase, but it's accurate because a lot of shows do this. You see Kamen Rider Fies, and, being actually, wait, what? Did Matt just go for a Tokusatsu reference? Yeah. Kamen Rider Fies, Master Rider Fies, whatever you want to call it, lots of miscommunication issues on that Japanese television show, right? And you'll see in American shows, too, just, to hype up the drama. And usually, Gravity Falls is usually good with making, the show filled with drama that doesn't seem unnecessary. But in this case, it kind of felt a little bit too much. Not at the beginning, because it's like, yeah, FBI corners you. You're not going to spill your guts to the FBI. But when it's your Greases? Well, your Grease and your Nephew? He's their great uncle. So what would he call them? His great nephew, his great niece? his Greffyu and his Grease. So
I
when
mean,
he's near his Grease and his
grandkids.
Greffyu, technically, yeah. So when you're there, right, you know, with them, right, and Seuss, who basically is a son to you, just and then get adopted by Mr. Pines. Check. So you know, when he's basically a son to you, you can say it, you know. So it's one of those things where it's like, I know it hyped up the drama, but for me, for some reason, it didn't get me sucked in. It just got me more like, come on, you know, like again, like in a TV show where it's just like, John, I'm pregnant, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, he doesn't know that I'm actually not pregnant. Dun dun dun. But you could have said that you weren't and avoided this whole issue. But now he mustn't know the secret of me not being pregnant, even though I really am pregnant. Wait, so you're saying that you actually are now?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, what? And
yeah, no, yeah.
It's interesting because, yeah, you talk about this very well, because the idea of, like, towards the end of the episode, everything was leading up to, like, we don't know if he's a bad or a good guy. And you mentioned suspension of disbelief. Stan, of course. And it's important because, well, if we could sit there and it's like, damn it, if they had just said one line earlier, you know? But it almost makes me feel like a mega cynic to analyze to that level. And I know it makes
that's why I'm saying, like, in the beginning, totally fine, I get it. Like, it made sense. I think just as the episode went on, especially in that last 2 minute, because, you know, it's like countdown, end of the world scenario. I shouldn't tell the kids. I shouldn't tell them. It's like, Bronco Stan, tell them anything, you know? Like, it was just a very weird situation, because it's like, regardless, it's like, if he was evil, it would have been silly, because it's like, why couldn't you have lied and just said, it will make the world a better place? And because he wasn't evil, and it was just the fact that it was his brother, it also seems a bit petty, because it's big to us, but it's just a thing where it's like, yeah, you know, I did have a brother. Like, that's a sentence at that point in the story. Again, not in the beginning, because in the beginning it's like, you're about to be shot in the face by the FBI, and there's things that your brother has may have done that, you know, he may be dead to them. You know, a lot of crazy stuff. So it's like, yeah, don't bring it up to them. But once it comes down to the end, it's just like, there's a lot of, you know, hey, guys, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. Not going to tell you about it, though. Not going to tell you what this machine is made for, even though you want to stop it from doing its intended purpose. That's where it kind of, like, again, that's where it drew the line for me, and I wasn't engaged.
No, you're right. It was over-dramatic on purpose.
Only in the end.
Yes.
But in the beginning, it was perfect.
That last, I'm going to say, and this is, you know, we watch wrestling, so we're used to sometimes over-drama and, like, just ridiculous situations.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I guess suspension of disbelief isn't that big for us because we do it all the time.
Yes. I just also think it's because, you know, we also, when we watch wrestling, we enjoy when they do get to the point and when it's not something drawn out for weeks. So, well, it wasn't drawn out for weeks, obviously. It's just the idea that we, you know, we're at the end. And mind you, the way it was done as art, and I say art as in literally the way it was drawn, what it transitioned into, showing, you know, cuts from them to the town and everything, that was done perfect. Seuss saying what Seuss said, I have a new mission now. Perfect, right? It's just the idea of one sentence that was not said, even though it could have been the one sentence that could have at least gotten people on his side.
Right. It's just like, the machine is good. And, you know, they hyped up that situation. But, I mean, I think it was interesting that I think I liked it because, like, I was into that drama. Like, I knew what was going to happen. They're about to press the button, and finally Stan's going to get there. And Stan's going to be like, no, don't press that button. And, you know, that's exactly what he does. And I saw it coming, but I liked it because the moment was built up to, and I'm into it, and I can respect it. So, like,
well, no, that's the thing.
It was over-dramatic and totally overplayed out, but...
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. I was up to it. I was into it only up until I think it was just, Mabel, you gotta trust me. That's the thing. It's like, Mabel, you gotta trust me. And it's like, why? Literally, I had to agree with Mabel. I would have pushed the button. And he would have been like, it was gonna release my brother. Now my brother's dead. Could have said that at any point Uncle Stan. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a situation where, like, I sometimes deal with people who talk like that, and I think that's why, where it's just like, you know, I'm going to tell you reasons to trust me, but not I'm going to tell you to trust me, but not give you the actual reasons, and then when I screw up, Matt, you screwed up. And no, I didn't screw up. So that's the thing. It was a very weird moment for me, literally at that area. But of course, the idea of, I was drawn into it because it's the final countdown, like they sang about. I was really into the final countdown idea because I'm always into that. Not as a video game player.
So hard.
It's like the one they always sang about.
I'm in the middle of getting all feelsy and into the moment, and he makes that joke, and I'm like, I hate you.
That's actually one of the reasons that I really love this show, because the tone is able to definitely shift between, you know, comedy and seriousness, but in a way that really has them mesh well. And for some, I know it can take them out of the experience, but I think it's just a thing where it doesn't have to be gritty. Like, a little joke in there can make you just, you know, kind of, because that's how I live my life usually. I'll be very serious about something, sometimes very passionate. And some people might go, oh, God, like, is Matt going, you know, like, what's Matt going to do? And then I'll throw in a little joke, just be like, see, like, we're cool here, we're calm, like, I'm not, you know, I'll put the knife down, and everyone's like, thank goodness. So usually that's what happens. If, like, you know, a heated debate or heated argument, I'll throw in one joke just to make everyone feel a bit calmer and feel like we're all good. And I'm not, you know, because, again, I get very passionate about things. Yeah, as I'm sure you do as well, Satish. So sometimes,
I understand that balance. And we've talked about appreciating that part of the show because of it.
And it was definitely prevalent in this episode. Just the idea of, you know, just Stan working with this equipment, and it's just like, you know, can't be too careful with it. Has the goop slide against his forehead and then disappear, and I'm like, oh God, that's bad. Like, that's brain damage worthy right there.
It was funny. I was like, you bastards. But no, I think a lot of the jokes in the episode hit with me too. Are you still okay? I was worried. I was like, Matt's gone, but
I said, I nodded.
Yeah, no, the jokes in the episode hit with me pretty well. I think one of my favorite things to take away was the idea of paying the cabbie to get as far, you know, drive in the opposite direction of the Mystery Shack.
That was brilliant. It's fairly funny how we're not in order anymore. So fuck it. That was brilliant. Because usually we do shows in order, but this was just so big that we can't talk about order.
And it's hard to just chronologically analyze. And by this point, most people have already seen it, and, you know, it's not like they're going to benefit from the order. They want to freak out like we do.
I think the cabbie thing was brilliant because usually it's just, hey, cabbie, get in here and don't stop no matter what. It's like, no, drive in the opposite direction. And everyone's like, quickly, he's heading into some secret hideout. He must be. And it's like, because he's an evil genius. And it's like, no, he's going right back to the Mystery Shack where his secret base has been all along that you guys didn't notice because, well, I will admit, you know, this is where it becomes more of a kid's show. I hate to say it because, you know, of course, you know, real CIA would have noticed from the beginning, you know. But
right, and I mean, they've had recording devices in the house, so there's probably something that would have tipped them off, you know. So
it's really funny because apparently, it's really funny because what I like though is that to counteract that, though, I've noticed Stan never talks to himself out loud when he's alone, other than the one time when he cursed. But minus that, he's not like going into the secret base now, you know. Never.
Well, he does talk to himself a lot, but he'll do it like in the base.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so he doesn't talk about the base outside the base, which is very interesting, and I enjoy it. Like you wrote about the base outside the base, you know, you got to keep it quiet. But it's very interesting, and I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy that kind of attention to detail, I think, where it's like, you know, because in his head, I feel like he does think, maybe there are things hooked up in this house. Like, I feel like he thinks that way all the time. Like, I feel like he's eating cereal, and he's like, is it bugged? Am I eating a bugged cereal box? Damn you! And they'll just have footage of him just stabbing cereal.
Like, he knows.
I feel like they've changed the bugging devices 8 different times in his house. Like, each and every time, Stan doesn't actually discover it, but he makes reference to discovering it. so they just change all of them when he's out of the house.
That's terrible. Kind of funny.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But anywho, so yeah, what's very interesting though is the idea that Grunkle Stan still is a liar, in the sense that, which is also, I guess, added to the theory of is he evil? Because it's like, kids, I didn't do this.
Oh yeah, that was definitely it. He did exactly what he said he didn't do.
Yeah.
And then also he's got fake identification. So you're sitting there and it makes like complete sense the way Dipper's reacting. Where Dipper's
Though
like,
it's really funny.
A criminal.
The only reason why it's just really funny in the sense that and I at the time though I didn't think this. Though I think thinking it over it appeared. Because of course in the moment, usually, if you really let yourself be immersed in this, you've been seeing all 2 seasons, I really think you just become immersed in it and you might see some things coming, like you said, Uncle Stan would be there at the end. But you don't sit there and think of the future of the show. But because I don't think I thought about this at the time. I might have chuckled at it, but I don't think I seriously thought about it. But now that we're here, what would have happened if just Grunkle Stan was just a drifter who just killed Grunkle Stan and he just took his place? Where the hell would the show go from there? Like, I enjoy that they kind of made it into a way where, like, it was hard to assume that it would be legit. I think, where, like, you might think, like, is he evil? But they gave you some weird curveballs where in my head, because, like, evil, like, because that's the thing, like, evil scientist that killed the great Uncle Stan and took his place to make a doomsday, like, it was a weird situation. Granted, not that this brother thing is any, like, less weird, but it's weird in the way I think we're accustomed to. Supernatural weird.
Right.
Sci-fi weird. Rather than, we just went full Twin Peaks, which I enjoy that, by the way. If you've ever seen Twin Peaks, this was definitely a very Twin Peaks-inspired episode. So kudos to them for sticking to where...
Did you start watching Twin Peaks because you found out it was the inspiration for Gravity Falls, or...?
That plus the fact that a couple of my friends watched it and really recommended it to me. So I haven't finished it yet, but I started watching it. I finished the first season.
Okay.
I'm on the second.
Because I know you went into Twin Peaks before Gravity Falls, and then you got really into it and you were happy. And I was like, maybe it's worth a watch myself. Cause
it is definitely worth. The second season does drop in quality, but they are actually starting a third season on Showtime.
Really?
So, yes, the show is continuing. I
Holy
believe.
Crap.
Yes, the show is continuing. Sadly, the creator of the show / director, writer for a few of the episodes, David Lynch, he is not working on the show. Sadly, so he's off the project. Hopefully, that means that a couple of the other actors that hopefully I assume would be coming back aren't off the project. But his scripts should still be used from what we've heard. So he just won't be directing them. So basically, he got the chance to continue his baby.
Okay.
In a way. But not really directed, but write at the very least, from the way it looks.
But we mentioned Twin Peaks. Alex Hirsch has mentioned that he was a huge fan growing up, and this was a show that he used to inspire Gravity Falls.
Yes, which you can tell. While I haven't finished the second season yet, I will let you know that, of course, when we look at Twin Peaks, just to, without spoiling anything, it's not the idea of the monsters. It's the idea of the town. So when you look at the town, that's when and the idea of secrets, that's where, and secret societies and things like this, that's where and the general, like, weirdness, I think, and strangeness and uniqueness, that's where Gravity Falls fits in. But the monsters are really more of, I would assume, Alex Hirsch's, love of, the supernatural and more X-Files. Like, I would argue it's just X-Files mixed in with Twin Peaks a bit.
That makes sense.
You were so silent for a bit, I was like, all right, he's dead. So, good night,
No,
everybody.
I started thinking about the X-Files, because it's been a while since I've actually thought about the X-Files, all jokes aside, and I was like, I can see it.
Bringing up another new X-Files coming to Fox 2015.
Before this turns into an ad for everything, so
not even everything, just returning shows. Like, new Arrested Development.
Get out.
That's actually happening.
The episode was so much fun for me because, well, first off, it just finally, we got the plot point of the brother. This is now confirmed. So all the little things that we've been picking at and thinking like, this means this, there's some validation. And that's a really good feeling. In my opinion. After everything.
It really is.
It's a great feeling.
Especially because of the fact that we learned that the McGucket thing was fake, which was brilliantly planned but fake. Which is something that you and I would do, which is why it was brilliant. Not because we're so brilliant, but the idea that, you can tell that Alex Hirsch is so young that he was able to manipulate social media in a way where if the story was not fabricated, which does not seem like it was fabricated, it was played over these television screens. So it's not like that story was fabricated. The fabrication was the fact that he made it so that it would seem as if it was an episode leak. But it was not. So that right there is just, again, brilliant, because using social media to your advantage shows just how young Alex Hirsch is, because he gets it. He understands the power of social media and how you and I both knew of a spoiler that wasn't actually a spoiler.
Yeah, and we all sat there and treated it as a spoiler for months because we had to. We all thought, this is a thing, right? And the show made it seem like that's what we were leading up to. So we had to respect it. And that's what made it even better.
Where it was just, nope, twist. It's not as if I haven't twisted all of you before, wrapped around my... So the idea... And, of course, as you mentioned, Stan's brother, the fact that it wasn't a twist. The fact that it was something everyone guessed, but at the same time still felt far-fetched enough.
Yeah, we had to put a lot of work into that theory.
Yes.
And I remember having to explain it when we first started doing the show, and having to explain it on air, no, I believe in this theory, man. I really fully believe in this theory. And
which, by the way, was not the first episode of the first season. Was actually I believe we started podcasting with the first episode of season 2, I believe.
For Gravity Falls?
Yes.
That's interesting. I think we did an overall season 1 thing, didn't we?
We may have done a season finale, I believe. I believe we did a season finale.
Dreamscapers was incredible.
Yes.
So,
we did a season finale. Yeah. But anywho, so the idea, of course, being that, people did have to do work because it was just the idea of, oh no, we still see him here. We see someone in Stan's memories, but there are things about him that may not be his own because of the glasses thing and things like that. We were just so, and the fact that it's not he doesn't wear glasses because, come on, he has an eye patch. But it's not legit. The eye patch isn't an actual eye patch. He has 2 working eyes.
Right.
It's not for anything. So, there's just so much that went into this that was just, that, again, people had to do work for. And now we realize that there's a good chance that when the kids went back to the past, they did not see Stanford Pines. They saw Stanley.
Right.
Or at least we saw Stanley.
Right.
So
I don't think they saw.
No, they did not. They ran right past, warped away, and then Stanley opened the door and said, wait, what? He looked around. We were like, hey, that's young Grunkle Stan. Nope. That was not.
It looked more like a
I'm sorry. Let me clarify. It was young Grunkle Stan, the other one.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of little drop-ins in the show that's even better. Do you remember when a couple weeks ago when we had the Who Was the Author episode? In terms of, who's the author of the books? And it was they led them to, ask McGucket a while back. I said a couple weeks, but it's a while back.
It's a while, a lot more than a couple weeks, but yes.
Yeah, a promo coming out where it was who is the author of the books? Who wrote the books? Who wrote the books,
Mm-hmm.
And the eye, that little crossed-out eye, flashes multiple times what seems to be a segue or a transition in the trailer. But if you mark it down as Morse code, it spells Stan.
God damn it. See, what I enjoy really is that this show has...
not even fair.
Yeah, I know. It's just... a few things that this show has done. It's really great because I think we really should have taken the hint, which I think we all did. But anyone who didn't should have really taken the hint once we learned about Brendan Blandon and what he does. and how he was portrayed in the first few episodes. So I think after that you kind of just get the idea that, you know, and also the fact that, you know, I really enjoy that, minus which I really want to speak to Alex Hirsch because I want to know how it impacted the show at all, if it did at all, minus the fact that the one episode, which would have been a reference to Labyrinth, was removed. Minus that.
Yeah, you wanted that a lot, didn't you?
So fucking bad. I still do, man. I still hope it's a part of season 2. I still hope it's still season 2 or season 3. Alex Hirsch, if you're listening, but you're not, but if you're listening, I can be David Bowie, David Bowie, David Bowie, David Bowie. My name's David Bowie, and I'm Labyrinth.
Matt really liked it. He wanted that to be a thing.
Oh, my God. I just wanted him to sing to Mabel so much. Just, how you turn the space, my stupendous Mabel. You starving slightly exhaust me, just trying to like twist the lines in every single way so that it's not like copyright infringement, because I would expect a lot of music, and it would have been brilliant. Just
what was the reason it didn't go through? Because Disney Channel didn't think that everyone would get the reference, it wouldn't go over well?
That's what they said. Honestly though, now thinking about there being music involved, I bet you they just didn't want to pay the money for it.
That could be part of it, if there was music involved. Not confirmed. That's you speculating, of course. So
that's me speculating. But the idea, and of course, but from what we've heard, I think it was from Hirsch we heard this. Hirsch said, yeah, they thought that people wouldn't get the reference, because apparently Gravity Falls, being a mixture of Twin Peaks and you know, that's what's really funny. It's just like, that's how older executives work, I feel. Love you guys for letting Gravity Falls happen, but that's how I feel like older executive works. Like, you look at someone like Vince McMahon. I love some of the stuff that he's done, but we look at someone like Vince McMahon, right? And he's just like, people won't get an 80s reference. Let's throw in Jerry Springer, though, on Monday Night Raw. The 90s worked just fine. Twin Peaks, it was early 90s, but still, Twin Peaks, just fine. X-Files, just fine. Labyrinth, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, but, you know, how 90s, perfect. 80s, I don't know about that one. But anyway, as if all the other references have been so up to date, the final Countdown one, I'm sure that was very up to date.
Yeah, no,
but anyway,
pop culture, and I'll give you that much. But
anyway, still, just, you know, I really wanted that one so much. You know, I just wanted, you know, the Babe to just be the Dipper. But sadly, we did not get that. And whatever, I'm not bitter, for fuck's sakes. I'm not bitter. I assume it'll be in season 2, I would hope, or season 3. I think it can just be added. But I really like to add, because my point is this, right? My point throughout all of this, what I've been saying, is, you know, other than one episode, this is his baby that has been untouched, and it has flowed very well in what they have put into this, that, you know, like the little things here and there that have really made this story into what it is, when you're just sitting there and you're like, wow. Like, wow, how is this, you know, how is this happening? You know, because again.
Yeah, no, they gave him enough control. Basically, it's like they gave him creative control. And they're benefiting from it. Big time.
Yeah. No, and I think what's great after this is, if he wants to make anything after this, if he says, oh, you know what, there is something else I wanted to do, not as much as Gravity Falls, but I really wanted to do it, who will tell him no? I think that's what's great. They gave him the microphone. Now we're using WWE. We go talk about WWE stuff. So now we're like, they gave him the microphone and they said, "Here's a crowd of a couple thousand people. Talk live," and he performed wonderfully. It wasn't his first rodeo. He's done stuff before, but he really proved himself, I would argue, with this in a way that. What is he going to do? What are people going to say after this? He's like, oh, I want to do a show. Like, he can literally go, I want to do a show where teenagers, young teens, go on an island to kill each other for, you know, the ability to be the winner and the champion, right? And any network would be like, it's gold, fund it. How much gore is going to be in it? Fine, gold, we're sold. For any of you that are thinking, he just quoted the Hunger Games. Wrong. Battle Royale.
Matt's the kind of dick that'll be like, Hunger Games was Battle Royale.
No one just noticed that I did the DX suck it chant because I'm the taunt because we're on the radio. But anyway, we're veering way too much into wrestling territory. Let's drive on back to Gravity Falls town. Did you notice how funny it was? I don't know if you picked up on this. The idea that in the town called Gravity Falls, there are gravity anomalies that prove that, in this case, gravity does not fall.
No, it just felt like such... I was like, you pricks.
Yeah.
You had to do that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Most of the exchanges in this episode were really, really enjoyable for me. And I like the subtle things. Like, for example, when Stan's in the cell and he's getting, like, interrogated, he manages to steal the wallet as he's leaving. Like, when
because
fight, it's so perfect.
Because it's there to show you, hey, just in case you forgot, Stan is not a saint. Like, you might be sitting here like, yeah, Stan, you're not a bad guy. No, he's a bad guy. He's just not Hitler. You know, like, there's levels in between. You know, he's not I'm going to destroy the entire world evil villain. But at the same time, it doesn't make Uncle Stan the best guy in the world now. He will still pickpocket you. If not in person, he'll do it because, hey, look, the Sasquatch. That's Uncle Stan.
That because of the idea of, like, complex characters.
Yes.
People aren't black and white, and I like it when my characters aren't, like, just so easy to... And it's funny, people aren't black or white. That's the dish. I meant in character, like, personality-wise. Like, I know what I meant. But, yeah, so the idea that Stan is a complex character makes me very happy, because all of them are. Like, Dipper is the protagonist, and he's a good guy, but he has his faults, because he was really quick to get angry and potentially, like, shame Stan, you know? And at the same time, Mabel is almost trusting to a fault.
Yes, of course. Definitely. And, you know, and of course, Seuss, you know, being someone who never had a father around, just thinks of, you know, Uncle Stan as his leader, basically as his dad, you know, get orders no matter what. I mean, he's about to get some fast food, and it's just, Mr. Pod, I have to admit, though, the way they made the audio, I thought Stan hacked or rigged it so that it was coming out of the machine.
I did, too, and I enjoyed it.
Because it was because it's like, oh, no, they're close to each other. They have handheld radios. So it was just great. It's like, Mr. Stan, is this some crazy possession thing? No, Seuss, it's me. I was like, oh, there we go. And it was put it in my mouth. Oh, no. But, and then he just brought...
Was it, to fix it, he wanted to be not delivery guy, what did he call himself?
No, wasn't it just like, we're upgraded from delivery guy to delivery man?
Not
or
delivery
something like
guy.
That.
It was like maintenance guy or something, but I can't remember the word.
Okay.
So it's like maintenance guy to become a maintenance man, and I was like, God damn it.
And then, of course, you know, and what's even great, I think, is that, like, in my head I thought, so Seuss is going to get killed by these CIA agents. But thankfully it was timed very well so that it's just like, we all have to run away. It's funny because it's like, that's, again, like I said earlier, you know, the whole idea of kids show, but at the same time, I will admit, it does feel like all men on deck because... the great white, you know, the Jaws, you know, it's like no one's going to be sitting in the bathroom like, oh, they can take care of Jaws. You know, like, no, we're all going to be here, you know, making sure that we get this guy because this guy is, in their eyes, an eco-terrorist. You know, this guy is going to annihilate the world. So, hey, sorry we're not guarding the base, you know, because right now, guarding whatever this area is, because they sweeped it. According to them, it looks fine. Now, they secured the pig, so now we need to make sure...
And then they stole Maple's popsicle.
Yes. No, I thought they were going to lick it, which was funny. I was like, oh, okay.
They did.
They did. Okay.
Yeah.
In my head, it was like, wouldn't it be funny
no one was looking, and then he licked it.
In my head, it was like, wouldn't it be funny? Matt, it did happen. I'm a writer. But anyway. Yeah, no, and then we had Seuss just, you know, protected at all costs, even though I don't know why. And then it's just... Kids, this is hurting me more than it's hurting you. No, seriously, kids, it is. Like, have you ever tried the whole kids back, Satish?
Yeah, no, that's why I laugh, because I've been there.
Yeah, no, it's just, guys, this really hurt. And everyone's just, I feel like all the, like, at the time, because I know, like, I don't think we've had to do it recently. Because, you know, my brothers are grown up, and then, you know, anyone that you know from, you know, that's in your family from Guyana, I assume that they've grown now. But at the time, it was just like, come on, you guys are, you know, insert age here that's over the age of 10, right? You can handle these two kids. They're biting, John. They're biting. Why do you think that they're... You handle them then. No, that's your job. You see? Whoa, you can't just handle 2 kids? They're biting and they're constantly kicking me in the crotch. Seriously, it's just on repeat right now.
In his sass crotch. You said Sasquatch earlier. I just want that to...
I did. I'm happy that we have continuity.
But,
we're like Gravity Falls.
No, yeah, lots of subtle stuff that always takes precedence. But, excuse me, I think the idea that... early on, when they break away, when Mabel and Dipper break away from one of the agents, Trigger? Yeah, Trigger. Yeah. He was like, I use Trigger as a human shield. He cried like a baby.
Hey, don't bring it up. But yes, so when they broke away from Trigger.
Yeah, the idea, he was like, no, they're so trusting of him, of Grunkle Stan. But it's just like, we know he's a bad guy, but he's not that bad. And he's like, no, you have to understand, there's stuff that you just don't know. And
it's like, crazy, because as adults,
there's a lot more we don't know, too.
But no, not even just that. Like, it was weird, because my mind went to something yours may not have. Serial killers.
I'm listening.
The idea that the BTK killer, which was bondage, torture, kill, not getting into that right now. Just the idea of, when they captured him, this guy wasn't someone living in his basement, plotting to destroy the world. He had a family, he had a wife, and I believe he had a kid, if not 2. And his neighbors, of course, it's kind of funny, because always the neighbors, it's just, he was such a nice guy, because of course he's not going to be Leatherface. But, that's just their assessment of him. Yeah, no, maybe a little quiet, but, he was my neighbor, I borrowed his lawnmower, what I mean? That's the thing, and that's what Trigger was getting at, which was so crazy, because to people, to adults, to you and I, we're like, wow, yeah. Because it's not like the stereotype. Oh, it's the silent type. Oh, it's the one that likes Japanese animation. No, it's just literally, it's the ones you least expect in the sense that, they blend in. And it's crazy because the kids are like, no, but Grunkle, kids, not just Dipper and Mabel, I mean actual kids watching. No, but Grunkle Stan.
He's
right? And of course
funny.
they're going to believe.
He's a nice guy.
Well, no, and of course, but again, they know because kids aren't stupid. Like with Dipper and Mabel, they're just like, but like they said, he's a bad guy though. They agree to that because it's like Dipper and Mabel said it, and they can also see it because kids aren't stupid. But kids aren't going to get the complexities of blending into society as a serial killer, which in a way was what they were painting Grunkle Stan as.
That's
when you found the fake IDs.
That's a good thing to bring up because I didn't think about that. I was just like, oh my God, serial criminal. I didn't think serial killer.
Right. Well, I think murder because it was. I thought murder because of the idea. Yeah. He's like, Grunkle Stan missing, died in car accident, brakes were cut. Who cut the brakes? And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, obviously something happened there that didn't I believe the car crashed, but there was no one in it or something like that.
Yeah.
I firmly believe it.
Do you remember if it said Stanford Pines or Stan Pines?
I think it just said Stan.
That's hilarious.
Which is on purpose.
No, because I thought about this earlier in the episode, but I guess it's... I'm sorry, I thought about this earlier in our episode when we were talking, but it didn't come up in conversation. So there's a good chance that Stanley is dead to everyone.
That no one thinks he exists anymore.
Yes. So I would assume then he is dead, to the world. And all I can think of is now an Incredible Hulk reference from the 70s show, but Disney Channel won't let me say it. So thinking about, he's dead to the world, and it's the idea that he just, I don't know why he had to go fight these beings. I'm assuming he's fighting beings or he's doing some kind of colonization somewhere in some world. Because in my head, which we've brought up before, I brought up before the idea that these monsters may be coming from this portal.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a chance that he may have been doing something on the other side of the portal. Because it's like, oh, I've looked up all the monsters in Gravity Falls. What's next?
Right,
the source.
And even if it's a thing where it's like, what if this portal originally is what got that? Like, there's so much to be answered.
Yes. Which is scary if it's answered in the next half of a season, because that means we only got 2 seasons of one of the best shows ever. So, you know.
I mean, its schedule really hurts it. I'm sorry, Disney, but you are hurting Gravity Falls by doing that, because something like Steven Universe is picking up more love in my heart because it's just there for me. It's there for me.
And I have to admit, both started around the same time, yet Steven Universe, while it's kind of funny, someone could say, but Steven Universe just started second season. Its first season was 52 episodes. Your move. You know, like, that's the thing. First season was longer, at least in episode, because, you know, of course, they would split out the time the episodes aired just like Gravity Falls did. But Gravity Falls, and, you know, has aired about 30. Well, no. Well, yeah, 33. 31. Right, let's say 31. Just to 32, maybe if we want to 32. Right? So about 30-ish. And it has taken about 3 years, well, Steven Universe has aired about 55-ish now, and it has taken 3 years. About. So, you know, it's just a thing where it's just like, that's the problem, because it's able to be there when Gravity... And look, I understand you have your cash cow, you don't want to, you know, maybe that's the problem, because the problem being that Hirsch's vision was only 2 seasons. And Disney's like, well, then we must extend this as much as we can. Maybe at first, if the show hadn't been received very well, but well enough, maybe we would have just gotten 2 seasons, lickety split, 2 years. That's it. But no, clearly the second it hit, it's our fault. It's the fans' fault. The fans screwed the fans. Brett screwed Brett. That's what happened there. Damn us for damn you, Alex Hirsch, for creating quality television. That's why you can't have it. Because all the things that suck are weekly. Think about it. Professional wrestling, love you. Soap operas, where we have a complicated relationship. Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, call you later. They all suck. No, I really like those things. But they're all weekly, with never really any breaks. Interestingly.
Yeah, and that's funny. We've sat here and kind of bullshitted for like an hour, and I didn't mean that literally, just the idea of, like, we freaked out when this episode happened. But so much time has passed since it actually was released, and we're still waiting. We have to wait until summer for the next episode. And we're just sitting here with a billion questions, and it sucks, because this is why I really want the regular release schedule, because I want to sit there every week and get this hype. But, like, at this point, I'll be honest with you, like, I've cooled off a little bit. I rewatched the episode, and I love it, but I've cooled off from my original hype. Because
I would like to mention something, though. You know, I'm not saying Gravity Falls should be weekly. The idea of a mid-season finale works.
I agree.
It's just the problem is that, okay, while this is longer than the other waits have been, you know, that in this season, technically it feels like every episode is a mid-season finale in terms of wait time.
Yeah, and it just takes away from it a little bit, because we've waited almost like, and some we were getting like once a month, and then we got Steven Universe, and it's interesting because even to comparison in time, right? Steven Universe is 12 minutes, let's say, right? So we've got like 12 minutes of that, and you get 4 of those a month. So you get like 40-plus minutes of TV.
Yes.
I know Gravity Falls is 30, so asking for 2 would actually be more than we'd be getting from Steven Universe per month.
It's 22.
So, I mean, it is 22. So, I mean, arguably, what we get from Steven Universe in a month is about the same as what we get from 2 Gravity Falls in a month, if we were getting 2.
It's funny, though, because I enjoy the idea that you're telling me Gravity Falls is once a month, because it feels like it would have been once every 2 months, and then rarely we'd get that nice little jingle of, hey, 2 this month. And we would sit there and think, is it Christmas?
But that's it. The schedule hurts what is arguably the best show I've seen in years.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying anything crazy, just the idea that, you know, a 22-episode series of, let's say, Supernatural can last a year. So why is it that we end up having Steven Universe not even 2 seasons yet, last us 3 years? Where's the malfunction? How did that happen? You know, and it's funny because, mind you, love Disney for what they've done, so I'm not criticizing Disney in the sense that, listen, you know, you let Gravity Falls be a thing. Great job. And Nickelodeon either, because Nickelodeon gave me some of the best, you know, shows from my childhood, so not criticizing them. And they still release some, you know, some good content. But the same thing is actually happening with Power Rangers, you know, which is also another issue, where for some reason they're only allowed or they only want to air 16 to 20 episodes per year. Why is that a problem? They adapt from the Japanese show Super Sentai, which has about usually a good 49 to 52 episodes weekly per year. So they take that footage and then they make it into 16 to 20. However, that doesn't mean that they only cut it down to that one season. So what ends up happening is, back in the day, you might go, oh yeah, let's, you know, Lost Galaxy or Time Force. That was a full Sentai adapted into one full series, being, you know, consisting of late 30s to like, you know, mid 40s episodes. And that was all in 1 year span. Then we moved on to the next. This is basically saying, imagine if one of those older Power Rangers series was cut into two and then said, yeah, we did this footage here, and then we have to wait next year to do the other footage with the same cast of characters. That's a very long wait for something that, you know, in Japan is just so easily accessible. So, I mean, again, it's just the idea of and also the fact that, I would like to mention this to you, you might find this funny. France gets to air them all in one run.
What?
Sometimes. So sometimes France gets Power Rangers episodes, I believe in English, before we get them. So there were people scouring, I believe, for Super Mega Force, that's the name, in France, while we couldn't get it in America legally.
That's interesting. Release schedules is a crazy thing. Because Gravity Falls, I think, arguably, could have a bigger audience with a more regular read schedule.
But then, let me play devil's advocate, because that's what the devil needs is an advocate. Playing devil's advocate here, Satish, you then have that concentrated audience for a shorter period of time, and then Gravity Falls goes the way of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. I don't know what the projection of the show is, so that's what's interesting to me, because we heard 2 seasons in a movie, and then I feel like that's accurate. So, you know, there's a lot of talk, because we could have 2 seasons in a movie, we could have 3 seasons, you know, the last season to replace the movie, and I don't know, I mean, because if so, we're pretty much halfway through the show.
Honestly, that's what I think we are. Halfway through the show. I wanted 3 seasons at one point, but seeing how fast-paced, which is good, this season has gone, and seeing the fact that we already know that Stan has a brother, I don't know where else we can go from here, because are we not going to have Bill be the big bad in this season? Are we going to have Gideon make a return? Or, you know, who's going to be the big bad?
I assume Gideon's going to have to be on their side, so, because he's on Bill's wheel.
No, but here's the thing. He's going to be on their side, but what I'm saying is if they want to extend it, if maybe Alex Hirsch knows how to extend it because he's already, again, has the script set out, because I don't think he's adding anything. You know, he's not a guy that adds anything. He's a guy that has everything planned out. So I would argue that maybe Gideon is still going to be a villain in this season, or someone will. Maybe we haven't heard the last of the Northwests. Someone has to be a villain, if not Bill, if they're going to make a 3rd season. Because I think it would really be a downfall if it's going to be, and then Bill died, and then here's another season. A movie, sure, but here's another season.
I agree. I understand.
After something like Bill, unless you're telling me it's the Dragon Ball Z scenario, which I'm totally up for, which is just like, hey, you know, oh no, this guy is a bad guy. He might hurt people on Earth. Well, this guy can actually destroy the Earth, right? But got to be honest with you there, Goku. This guy can destroy the galaxy. Well, if you want to talk about galaxies, motherfucker, here's a guy who can destroy the universe. So if you're telling me that there's someone ahead of Bill, I'm totally for that. You're telling me that Bill is just another cog in some sick, twisted wheel? I'm totally for that.
I think I'd buy into it if they wrote the character well. And I'd also be pissed. I'd be like, why don't we get more of this character to begin with? I would have wanted them earlier.
Well, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, it's very interesting.
No,
it's
I get it. I get it completely. But it's like,
yes.
if Bill is World Destroyer and Universe Destroyer is out there,
yes.
like, I'm interested. I want to meet him, sit down for a cup of tea, understand, because Bill's so fucking entertaining.
Well, that would be third season, and then hopefully after the third, it would also be a movie. Unless you've heard the confirmation that it would either be a third season or a movie. Not both.
No confirmation. All speculation based on like stuff we've heard from Alex, but nothing is like, oh, it's one or the other, or this is in place.
Yes. So that means that we could, in theory, because of popularity, but not, of course, based on him writing more. Because that's the thing. I feel like it would be like, okay, popularity can kill something, so he can easily say, oh, this is how it ends, like the way the Scrubs planned on ending if its first season was going to be done. Same with The Simpsons. Same with The Simpsons. If by the first season both got canceled, things would have been a lot different. But they weren't, so they kept going. So, like, I'm sure he might have cancellation, or he might have ways of weaving in things if something bad happens. But I'm pretty sure as of right now, it would have to be Disney making the cut, and that would be completely ludicrous with the money that it's bringing in and the viewership it's bringing in. Hell, I would argue Disney would try to make him go longer, and he would say no, because he had something in his contract that said only 3 seasons or only 2 seasons. I would argue.
That I absolutely foresee. The idea that because they go to him and they're like, so we need more, and he's like, the show is supposed to be 3 seasons. It's not going to work otherwise.
No. Like, he has it in the contract. Because you look at something like Supernatural, and clearly that wasn't in the contract, because showrunners have come and left, and the show was supposed to end with its 10th season. And, quote, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tumblr. Please do. But it seems as if the show has been confirmed for another 2 seasons. That means that season 10 is not the end. We're going on till 12.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, for some of you out there, you might be
never ending.
For some of you out there, you might be very happy. For me, I feel like the quality has decreased. Sorry, everyone. So sorry, literally sorry, everyone. Yeah, but still, again, the idea is that clearly a show like that, CW is just like, it's making money, so screw quality, in my opinion, right? But Alex Hirsch is like, no, it's not going to become an 8-season show unless it's needed to be that. But it's not needed to be that. Like, Alex Hirsch would rather, I would argue, end the show with his story intact and then go, great, now let's hear about why Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Stan did what they did, or how everything started. Because you can easily have Stanley give a nice little brief synopsis, but very brief, and have it still be open to not questions, but still people going, I want to see. Not, oh, well, there's questions. No, but just I want to generally be excited about seeing how this started. I mean, look at J.K. Rowling now. You hear rumors of her starting a new book, but you know that there's going to be a new movie from what we've heard. Yes, that's going to be kind of a prequel.
Well,
yes,
related.
Unrelated. Yes, exactly. So anyway, we're at the end of our show, sadly. It's happened. We're at the end.
I saw it coming.
Well, we would like to thank you guys for listening to those guys. Thank you for listening to our Steven Universe show if you did. If you didn't, still, thank you for listening to our Gravity Falls show if you did. If you didn't, then how are you here listening to this? That's kind of contradictory. You're listening right now. So thank you for that.
It's actually kind of funny.
But, yeah, right, like, you're here. But anyway, so again, thank you guys for listening in. Know that you can catch our shows a lot of different methods. You can go on our Tumblr, which is thoseguysontherradio.tumblr.com, which is also our website. You can go on our Facebook /thoseguysontherradio, our Twitter at Those Guys Radio. You can go on iTunes and actually find us on iTunes with Those Guys Radio. And you can also email us for different promotional opportunities. You can also email us if you want to suggest show ideas and say, hey, you guys should totally do this show, which you can, again, do through our Tumblr, thoseguysontherradio.tumblr.com, but also through our Gmail, thoseguysontherradio@gmail.com. And here we are at the end.
All right.
Well,
I guess all jokes aside, you all take it easy. If you have any suggestions for things we should do, you should always hit up our Tumblr, and Matt will tell you about that. Now, if for some reason you didn't hear the Steven Universe show,
I already did. I just did. Satish is dead. It's 2 a.m. in real time. Satish died. I just gave my entire everything.
It's funny because I think I translated it into and this is where Matt does your stick again.
Again, like
I was hoping you would do it again because we have the time.
No. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, and of course, again, we'll see you if Gravity Falls exclusive. We'll see you in a couple years.
Yeah, 2018. Here we come.
All right, so end the show, Satish.
Good night, Satish.